Hey, there we go, John. You with me there, huh? All right. Well, good evening, everybody. And this is Larry Marcus coming to you from Melville, New York, where I'm in my home office here tonight. And in fact, I think next week I'll be broadcasting to you from New Jersey. We'll be down there in Atlantic City speaking at an event that's going to have some network marketing people in it. But we've got a lot of really good things happening here. In fact, I was out at a meeting earlier this afternoon or late this afternoon, and I had I got a call from one of our leaders, Tom Westrick. He had Darren Little on the line with us. Some of you know Darren. He's the MLM superhero online. If you look up MLMsuperhero.com, I'm just gonna get some volume figured out here. Okay. And my phone went out. I mean, I'm sitting with a great cell phone, and I've had it for a little while, just blanked out. There was a Verizon store right in front of the parking lot, right where I was. Went there, got a brand new phone, all set again. As network marketers, that's the one thing we can't afford to be without is communication, right? So, so Tom, if you're on the line here, and Darren, if you are, we'll catch up right after this hangout. Hey, I've got a special guest, as you can see right down there with me tonight. We've got John Shepkoff out of Carmichael, California. Say hi, John.
Howdy.
Hey, talk again. Let me see if we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, my volume's down. We can hear you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
you're hearing you out, Larry.
So that's all good. John is one of the leaders in our business. He's consistently from the beginning put in tons of personals, and he's well over 25 personals now. He's got a big group growing. So he's having a great time of it. He's getting money. John, you had a good check this week, right? That came to you?
Absolutely.
All right. All right.
So happy.
So, yeah, and in fact, it's always like a surprise when you see the notice, right?
I didn't even take the money yet.
That's so great. You're making enough money that you don't have to take it all every shot, right?
Right.
That's what's so cool about our business, is that when you start doing it, you can really get that much money coming in that quickly that you don't have to worry about taking it all out, right? And that's the position John's in. And we've got a whole bunch of leaders in the business. Some of the people that some of you know or that you're sponsored by actually are in that situation. So it's really kind of fun. All right, John's going to be hanging there with me tonight, and we're going to go through some little bit of a presentation, a little bit of some role play and back and forth on our topic tonight, which is asking questions is the answer. All right, Thursday night's a training kind of night. What I'm going to do is I want to go over to our presentation for tonight that John and I are going to talk through. Let me get that up here for you. Here we go. Start screen share. Everybody should be seeing that screen, right? And John, are you seeing that screen?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. All right. So everything we do on a Thursday night is kind of about training. It's about what can you do to get your share of the money that a lot of people are earning in Xplocial. We're going to talk about money tonight. So our legal department asks us to stay within the lines and make sure we put up a disclaimer. There's one at the bottom of your screen, I think, too, on our regular page. And, of course, we just like to mention to you that, anything we say or talk about or show you in income projections are not necessarily the money you're going to make. John's making amazing money. It doesn't mean that you're going to make the same kind of money. It depends on the effort and how you put together a team and how your sales go. It's all up to you, not the company. There's no guarantees of any earnings. But, John, you're making quite a bit of money, aren't you?
I sure am.
All right. A couple of housekeeping things. It won't matter if you don't know what it is, but our ID theft program is closed. We were giving away free identity theft programs. We gave away the maximum of 500 programs to new sponsors and people they sponsored. It was a $200 program that people got absolutely free, and we've come over the top on that now, so that's done. But hold on to your hat, because next week you're going to be hearing about a brand new contest announcement that's got cash and prizes tied to it that some of you are really, really going to want to go after, and it's all about sponsoring. It's a big sponsoring contest, all right? So like I said, tonight's a training night. John, you're seeing this presentation okay, right?
I can do it.
Okay, good. Tonight's a training night, and I hope that all of you are here for more. And somebody says, well, Larry, more, that's a big topic. More money, more time. I mean, you need more money to do the things you want, right? You need more money to take care of your loved ones, right? To take care of people and do what you want to do. And like that, and like we have in that little graphic to the right, more money for more good, because money's just neutral, right? Money's not good or evil. It's not, the biblical phrase is not money is the root of all evil. It's the love of money is the root of all evil. So money's neutral. It's good or bad depending on who has it. I know when guys like me and John and all of you on the call have money, we do good things with it. The next thing we want to have is more time to spend with ourselves doing what we love or spend with our loved ones, right? And, of course, that brings us right into wanting more freedom. Freedom to do what we want, when we want, with who we want, maybe as much as we want. To me, that's a definition of freedom. This is about earning money for you and for your family, and you don't have to apologize. You don't have to sit back in your chair and squirm. It is right for you to want to do more and earn more for your family as long as you do good things with the money. John, you got plans, good plans for money, don't you?
I sure do.
And in fact, John, you keep a written goal sheet about what you want to do with the money you're earning, don't you?
Daily.
Okay. All right. So that is the case. Now, by the way, I want everybody to realize that building this business, before we get into a little bit about asking questions, building this business is really nowhere near as difficult as most people tend to think. Sometimes people think, well, I got to enroll all these people, but you really don't. You don't need to enroll 100 people yourself. Just step one, enroll 5 to 10 new affiliates and do it, like as fast as you can. Just get 5 to 10 people enrolled. And somewhere between 3 and 6 of those people are going to be ready to do it right now. Now, they're going to be ready if you help them to get started properly. John, remember when you first got started and started sponsoring a lot of people? You remember what I said to you about going back and helping them get started? Share that with everybody.
Yeah, the idea is to help those that get their first in, because if you do that, they're going to get excited and they're going to actually want to go forward when they do that.
That's it, and you got to get them doing it quickly. But here's, of course, the great thing in our business. Since the first person that your person enrolls is a pass-up to you, well, and heck, that pays you to go work and help them get their first person. Then help them get their second person. They keep that money, and now they're really excited. They've broken even on their gold membership plan. And, of course, if they happen to get a third person with your help, ka-ching, you get paid again on a pass-up, right? John, are you getting more pass-ups than you thought you would?
I'm always surprised because my email keeps dinging.
That's right. Every time it emails, right?
It does. It keeps, and I look, and there it says, you just got another Xplocial, or you just got paid, it says.
And now you're getting a lot of platinum pass-ups as well, right?
Absolutely.
So that's always the best, the best kind of emails. Now, we've had people ask us to make sure we keep talking about this example so that everybody has it in their head, right? Because people say, well, how much money can I really make with Xplocial? How fast, right? And it's really just a matter of math when you understand the compensation plan. All you got to do, and by the way, in everybody's back office, under recorded calls, under training and recorded calls, we did an explanation of about how the comp plan works with some charts that you can go back there and see. But let's do the math on achieving a six-figure income. In the example we're going to standardly use, we talk about having just 150 members in your pay line, all right? 150 members that you're getting paid on. Well, when you're picking up 100% commissions on $29 gold memberships, 150 people times 29 would be $4,350. That would be that month's income to you, and of course that would come in every month. But it gets better because we know that approximately 50% or 75 people in this case will actually become platinum members. So 75 people times the $100 platinum commission is another $7,500. So 75 and the $4,350, you've got a total of almost $12,000 in monthly income, over $142,000 a year, and that's with only 150 people. How's that stack up in our industry? Let's compare the results because it's just simple. 142,000 plus for the year with only 150 people in Xplocial. Compare that to needing thousands, many thousands of people in other programs like you see in this on this box here just to make the same money. Please realize that with other types of compensation plans, less than 1/10, 1/100th of the people who join other companies like the ones you see ever earn more than $400 a month. We have people made, lots of people in their first week to 2 weeks make $400 a month and that come in and start getting a residual. So it's just a function of the way our compensation works. Okay, it's a function of our whole the whole way our business feels when people join. It is not difficult here to make money and make it quickly. John, you didn't get involved with us with a whole lot of successful network marketing experience, did you?
No, I didn't have any.
Okay, and what was it like for you when you got started? What did you find?
When I first got started, it was very challenging. I think the first 3 days, it didn't work, and so I actually called you up, and then you set me straight, and you said, John, just get him to the video. And that's all I've been doing now. And when other people talk to me, I just say, just get him to the 25-minute video. Stop trying to sell it. Let the video do the presentation, and then you just ask them, what did you like about it? And that's all I do. I don't do a whole lot. People think I do, but I don't. In fact, I was just going to say, another guy was asking me, says, what do when you start out, how do you do it? And I just say, well, would you be interested in earning $29 or $100 a day, or maybe a couple times a day? That's probably about how I usually start it out. I don't hype it up. I don't do anything to it.
That makes a lot of sense, and that's exactly what it was. John called and said, hey, people aren't getting in. In fact, I just had a 2-hour conversation with a guy. If you remember, you said that to me, John. And I said, yeah, stop that, okay? Just have them watch the video. And all of a sudden, people started joining, right?
Right.
It just doesn't take more than that. All right, tonight's hot training topic. We're not going to keep you long. I want to throw a lot at you every week and give you some good things you can take away without getting you tired, without getting you feeling like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Because this is advanced training that we do on Thursday nights sometimes, okay? It's just a little advanced. And tonight it's called Asking Questions is the Answer, all right? Advanced training, but this isn't the kind of thing where we tell you don't try this at home, right? This is advanced training. Do go ahead and try this at home. Try this tonight. If you're on the West Coast and we're done here, it's only going to be, what, about 7 o'clock or earlier. Get on the phone. Start talking to people. We're going to talk to you in the next few minutes about how to talk in a relatively new way. Most of us are used to kind of doing what I like to gently call puking on our prospects. We're used to being salesy kind of people. We're just going to keep talking and wear people down. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, that's over, okay? The day of the peddler, pusher, salesman, the day of the guy or the girl who just keeps talking is over. We are in the age of professional and consultative types of selling and sharing. We have got to find out what people want and then show them how we can give them the answer. And if we're going to find out what people want, seems to me we ought to be asking. We ought to be asking questions, okay? And here's what I mean. Well, let me help you with this. And I think I said this to you, John, once, and you were just laughing. I like to tell people I'm training that, look, we have to do this sponsoring stuff every day, okay? We have to talk to people every day. But your prospect may only have to talk to you once. Let's get them to do some of the work. You don't have to do all the work. I'm going to show you tonight how to make it easy. You see, by asking questions more than you talk, you can make the prospect redefine what they're thinking and spit it back out to you in a much better format. Every time the prospect redefines and gives you something, it's like loading your gun with ammunition. And you're going to see this as I run through some of this with John, all right? And also by asking questions, it allows you to stay in control of the conversation, all right? Now, I'm not going to talk about elevator speeches tonight, but for those of you that have been around me for a while, you know I'm pretty hot on elevator speeches, and I talk about the fact that you can create a prospect on demand by simply asking them, hey, John, what do you do, right? And when John tells me, I just be interested, we're in a conversation, and eventually, after John's talking a while, since I asked him, what do you do, John, what are you going to feel obligated to ask me?
Most likely ask the same question.
Right. You're going to say, well, Larry, what do you do? And of course, that's where the elevator speech comes in. Separate training night. That's not what we're going to talk about. But I am going to remind you that we've got a lot about elevator speeches in some of our training videos in the back office, right, or recorded our past sessions. And if you don't have one, if you don't have an answer to what do you do that gets people saying to you, geez, Larry, tell me more about that, all right, then you're not doing it right, all right? If you're answering what do you do with, oh, I got a business that has travel incentives, you're way off. If you're an insurance broker and you're saying I sell insurance, you're way off, okay? If you're not sure what your answer is and you don't have it right, we've got, under recorded calls, trainings that go over this. Go figure that out, all right? But what I want to do is talk about one specific situation right here. When you ask somebody, what do you do, all right? Really important that you don't be negative about what someone else does for a job or business. In fact, what you do is you build them up. And I'm going to show you how it works. And John, let your emotions fly, okay, like they would normally. Don't try and do anything special as we're talking. And by the way, John and I haven't rehearsed this. We're just throwing it out there, right? But a lot of people, when they ask somebody what do they do, and they're thinking about prospecting them for their network marketing or home-based business, they think they got to downplay what a guy does to make their business better, but it's the opposite. John, if forget about being in network marketing. If we had met somewhere and I said to you, what do you do, either before or during your network marketing business, other than network marketing, John, what do you do?
I help people with finance.
You help people with finance. You mean like stocks and bonds or insurance or?
No, it's more into helping 1 to 4 units in the real estate market.
Oh, in the real estate market, man. Now, John, I heard real estate like sucks right now. I mean, it's still down in the dumps. Everybody's depressed. Nobody wants to talk real estate. I guess you're not doing too well right now, are you?
It is challenging.
But you want to know something? That's not what most people would say. John's on edge with doing this call. Most people would get defensive, okay? And they would go, no, I do okay. Isn't that what you really naturally feel, John?
Yeah, I mean, you will build animosity, and that builds resentment when you do that. And when you do that, you alienate the person.
That's right. So instead, when John says, well, I've been doing some real estate work, I say, man, John, I hear that the real estate market is just making a tremendous comeback. You are probably right now raking in the bucks. It's going really well for you, isn't it?
And I'd say, well, I don't know about that, Larry.
That's exactly right. That's what he'll normally say. If you compliment him and say, well, it's going great for you, you must be just making a ton of money, he'll go, well, it's not that good. And isn't that the attitude that you want John to have, right?
Absolutely.
So that maybe you can find out if he's open to looking at another way to make some money.
Absolutely.
But if you make him defensive and make him feel, no, I'm doing just fine, you really don't have a prayer to find out if he's looking, right? Now think about it. It could be with anything. You could say, hey, John, what do you do? And John tells me he's a truck driver, right? And I go, wow, truck driver. John, I hear you guys are really, everybody's running by truck now, cross-country stuff. I hear you guys are busier than heck. Economy coming back for you a little bit, probably making a ton of money right now. The guy's going to just say, no, it ain't that good. I mean, I do okay. I mean, I'm not really doing that well. And that leaves me an opening to ask him other questions, to maybe say something like, well, John, when you say you're not, and John, just role play with me. When you say you're not doing that well, what do you mean?
It means that the customers are a lot harder. They sit there and they shop you from one loan officer to the next.
Okay, with mortgages, right? So with the mortgage business, John, I mean, is the way customers shop, does that really affect your income?
Absolutely. It's become more challenging, and it's like whoever has the best rate at the very moment wins.
Okay. And are there times you feel like you just can't do what you want to do dollar-wise just because of that?
It is, and well, the Obama hasn't played a he's played a pretty good role in this
Okay.
too.
Well, John, let me ask you, being that you're finding that with the mortgage business, let me ask you a simple question. If we were able to talk about creating some income, just totally on the side of that business that didn't interfere with what you were doing in the mortgage business, but maybe gave you a great upside and maybe could even increase your mortgage business, would you be interested in taking a look at something like that?
Sure, I'd be more than open to and listen. I don't know what I'll do, but it doesn't hurt to listen. That's for sure.
Right. And John felt open because I treated him right, because I wasn't negative about what he was doing, because I got him to talk about the problems he's having. Since he told me 3 times that there were problems with his business and how people are shopping rate and it's always a tough deal, well, of course he has to be open, right? So that's a way to talk to somebody about their business. The key is to question people so they come towards you. Instead of talking so much or talking negative about them or what they do, that will repel them away from you. You want to question people so that they come towards you, all right? I want to talk to you about a concept that we developed some years ago called the Rule of 3. First of all, always understand that in our advanced training here, you should always be answering a question with a question. Now you say, wow, how do I do that? Well, what I want you to picture is every time you see somebody asks you a question and you kind of see in your mind the question mark at the end of what they're saying, that should trigger you to ask a question back. Now, if John asks me a question and says, well, Larry, how much does it cost to get in your business? Could be any question, right? I could tell him, but I don't know what that means, all right? I don't really know what he's asking for, right? But I can't say to John, why do you want to know? That would be kind of abrasive, John, wouldn't it, if I just said that to you?
It would.
All righty. So what I do is I insert a softening statement, what I like to call a softening statement in there. So if John says to me, well, how much does it cost to join your business? I may say something like, you know what, John? That's a good question. Why do you ask me that right now? And you know what, John, we're doing it. Let's play it out a little bit. Just play. All right.
Okay.
You asked me how much does it cost to go, and I go, John, it's a good question. Why do you ask me that right now?
Okay, Larry. So how much does it cost?
Good question, John. Why do you ask?
Well, I guess I'm just trying to figure out, if I have enough money to start, maybe.
Okay, now look what we just learned. John asked us a question. If we would have just said, it's about $50 or $150, John would have just shook his head and on we would have gone. But because I stopped and I wasn't abrasive and I used a softening statement and I said, hey, John, good question. Let me ask you, why are you asking me that right now? And he says, well, because I'm trying to figure out if I could really afford to do a business like this. Now we know that there's an issue with money, don't we? All right. So we're going to talk more about all this and role play more as we go. But what I want to get across to you here is to understand, like we just saw, that the first question that people bring you is almost never the real question. Let me give you an example. All right. I went in and on a consulting thing a few years ago with a computer company, and I helped a young salesperson. I did him a favor, and I went on a call with him to this larger company. And one of the questions that the guy who was the purchasing director asked our salesman was, and our guy's name was Billy. He asked him, he said, Bill, he said, how much memory do these computers have? And Bill started looking up the specs, okay, to give him the specs. And I put my hand on Bill's arm and I said, I don't remember the guy's name. Let's just call him John, who was the purchasing agent. And I didn't let Bill answer, and I said, John, that's a really good question. Why do you ask that right now? His answer to me was, well, Larry, the last set of computers I was responsible for buying didn't have enough memory or RAM or whatever it was. And I said, hey, John, that sounds really important. What was the result of that? And you know what he said? He said, Larry, the result of that was I almost got fired. The president of the company almost fired me because I spent all this money on a whole lot of computers, and they just weren't powerful enough for what we needed them to be. Now, what was his real problem and his real question? He wants to make sure his job is safe. He wants to make sure somebody's taking care of him. He doesn't care how much memory's in the computer. He just wants to know, is it enough that the boss is going to be happy, that they'll all work and the boss is going to be happy? He didn't even know what that number was, right? But it's by asking more than one question. I like to call it the rule of three. The first question that somebody asks you is just intellectual crap, okay? I'll say it nice. It's just intellectual crap. All right, and they don't mean to ask you a crappy question. They're just not that good at what they do in most cases. They don't know what to ask, right? So people ask you a question, and we're going to do some examples of this, and it's just kind of crap. You got to learn to dig deep with people and find out what the real question is. And we're going to put this into our world. But before we do, let me step outside of our world. And John, play this out with me, okay?
Okay.
You're going to be a widget salesperson. Now, I don't know what a widget is, but you're selling widgets, okay?
Okay.
All right. So here's what happens. I say to you, John, and John, I want you to answer the question just like you think the average salesperson would, all right? So you show me these widgets, and I go, hey, Johnny, I really like these widgets. I think my company could use them. Do a lot of people use these widgets?
I don't know.
Now, it's not what you'd say as a salesman. What would you say?
Everybody uses them, Larry. Come on.
Yeah, of course they do. Here's the problem with that answer that every salesperson is going to give. I come back and I say, John, I'm sorry, that's not going to work out. I was looking for something more exclusive. John assumed because I said to a lot of people who use these widgets that the answer should have been, oh, of course they do. But I'm looking for something exclusive. So you see what it says on the top? Don't get into a box you can't get out of. John just put himself in a box, okay? Put himself in a box, right? Because he can't get out of this now, all right? Do a lot of people use these? Oh, I'm a big salesman. Of course everybody uses these. I'm not looking for that. I want something more exclusive. So now what would it look like if we were an intelligent salesperson, okay? And John's the customer. So, John, ask me that question. I like these.
Oh, I like these. Do a lot of the people use these widgets?
That's an interesting question, John. Why do you ask me that right now?
Do you want me to read this? Or
yeah,
what?
You can read it.
Oh, that's an interesting question. Why do you ask?
That's what I said. I'm the salesman. What do you say?
I'm the prospect. Oh, well, I'm looking for something exclusive. That's the reason.
Now, and I get to say, well, and this might be a perfect opportunity for you, John. And watch this. In fact, John, this is a brand new widget for us. And depending on how big an order you were looking to make, we maybe could totally brand this for you. John, how big an order were you looking at making? So now I'm actually might be getting more money put on the table than what might have happened by offering the client something exclusive. You see that happening? Hey, I like these. Do a lot of people use these? Good question, John. Why do you ask? Well, I'm looking for something kind of exclusive. Well, and John, this might be the perfect opportunity for you and I. That's a lot different than, I like these. Do a lot of people use these? Oh, sure they do. That's not going to work for me. I wanted something exclusive for our company. You see that? You feel what happened, John?
Yes.
So don't put yourself in a box, all right? Let's talk about what questions you can ask with when you're working now with your Xplocial business, okay? Let's go back a little bit. And everybody who's been around me for more than a week has heard me do this because I do it every day. I say to people, hey, and let's just role play it out a little bit. John, let's say John just watched a video, or maybe I'm just talking to John, and I say, John, this money we're talking about that you could earn, would you like to earn this money sooner or later?
And the answer would be, I'd like to make it now.
And let me ask you, John, when you say now, why is that?
Well, if I had some extra money, I can do more things.
Hey, that's kind of cool. I know what Bonnie and I are doing. When you say more things, what are you thinking about?
Toys.
Toys, like what? What's a toy for you?
I mean, maybe getting a new vehicle or buying another house or, something like that. I'm not a real materialistic, but I got to admit, I do like nice things.
Okay. And if you had a choice between a house and a car, what would that be right now?
Probably a house, and I want to build another home.
Would you do it in the same area?
That's a good question because I think I probably would like to go not more rural again. I like that area, but the problem is then it's harder for friends to come out.
Okay, now look what happened here, folks. We went from my asking, do you want the money sooner or later? And with a few questions, I just kept asking questions, right? John, it didn't feel obtrusive, did it?
No, not at all.
Not when you're involved in it. So I just kept asking John a few questions, and I didn't have to be a rocket scientist for this. I just asked him questions based on what he said to me, right? And in a few questions, I got down to where he'd love to be able to build a new home and where to build it. John, at that point, is it fair to say that you weren't thinking about whether or not you should do the business? You were just thinking, man, I can get this money and build this home, right?
It actually make me excited.
Yeah, that's what happens, all right? So that could go any number of ways. Let's try it again, John. We'll just try a different way. So
Okay.
I ask you, would you like to earn the money sooner or later? And you say?
Sooner.
Sooner. John, when you say sooner, what is there some particular reason that you need to make the money sooner?
Yeah, I was thinking about getting a better vehicle that on gasoline.
Oh, right now the gas is costing a fortune, isn't it?
Yeah, I have to have a gas guzzler, and I'm sorry to have to admit that.
You know what? I've got a Mercedes-Benz GL 450 truck that I think what happened, in fact, I went to get gas today, John. I don't know if it's as bad for you. I went to get gas. I rolled down the window, but I didn't shut off my engine. The attendant who I know comes to my window, and he said, Mr. Marcus, would you mind shutting off the engine? I think you're gaining on me as I pump it. Right? So, yeah, I know what you mean. Johnny, let me ask you now, is this idea of getting a new car, is this serious, or are you just kind of blowing smoke about it?
Oh no, I've been very serious. I feel so embarrassed because I can't seem to pass up any of the gas stations.
Well, John, let me ask you, if you're really serious, let me say this. We can get you, I mean, what are you talking about in a payment that you're going to have to come up with?
I would rather pay cash, to be honest. I don't
Okay.
like payments.
And have you thought about what that might cost?
Oh, I'm thinking somewhere around 35, maybe to 45,000, maybe.
All right, folks, watch this. Watch this now. John, if I was to say to you that in the next 3 to 6 months you could earn $35,000 or $40,000 over and above what you're doing, and it would be nothing more than, you know, 50 or $100 investment to do it, what would you say?
I'd say, let's get started.
Now, see, folks, what happens is a lot of you are saying, well, first of all, you never find out what John wants, right? I find out what John wants, and then I show him how me and Xplocial can help him get it. Most of you are going, hey, John, you want the money sooner or later? If you ask that question, right? John says sooner. You go, good, let's get you signed up. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. You're ahead of the game by asking the question. But I stop and I say, John, why is it that you want that money sooner? And I go through that with him. And just 2 or 3 questions later, he's telling me exactly what he wants. And I ask him, I stop it. And I say, John, are you blowing smoke or is this something you really want? He said, no, I'm serious. I go, well, John, what would you say if I said within 6 months we could make you that money? If I said that, what would you say? And go ahead, John.
I'd say, tell me more. I'd like to know how this is possible.
And John, why is it that you want to learn more? Are you interested in doing something else?
Well, if it can bring that kind of money in that short amount of time, I'm all ears.
Okay, isn't that all we want, folks? But you see, John doesn't want to join your business. He doesn't want to join Xplocial. He doesn't want to make you any money. John wants to do something that gets his goals and dreams, that helps him and his family. So if I can find out what that is by asking him 2 or 3 questions, taking an extra minute, doesn't it sound like that's a better way to go? I mean, John, I know that, you're still learning a lot of this kind of stuff from us. I mean, does this make more sense to you as you're actually living through feeling it, that it's easier to get somebody to want to join with you by doing what I'm doing?
Oh, absolutely. Using softening questions are much, much better, and using the 3 questions. In fact, I actually role-played with one of my guys that came in, and I actually did a 7-question with him. And we went and we actually found out exactly what is his motivation.
Right.
And he was shocked when I went through it with him.
Sometimes you're opening people up to them first understanding what they're about themselves, right? They don't even know until you question them, right? Let's try this. Let's start here, John. Hey, John, now I'm following up, right? This is the things we do, folks, right? This is what we do every day. You only got to get good at a few questions and a few skills and then kind of let your prospect help you take it from there, right? And by the way, remember, this is an advanced training skill. If this is a little past you, if asking questions and thinking on your feet is a little past you, don't worry about it. You can use the tools we've got and use your upline's help, and you'll be just fine. What I'm trying to do is take you from whatever sponsoring percentage you have right now and raise it through the roof. Because as John and some of your leaders have seen, when you get a qualified prospect in front of me, somebody who's watched the video and is open to find out more, when that person is on the phone with me, we're batting 100% at sponsoring. All right, and a lot of your John and some of your other leaders are doing the same thing because we understand how to not talk them into the business, but question them into the business. So it's 45 minutes after John sat and started watching the video by appointment, and I give him a call and I go ring ring. John answers the phone.
Hello.
Hey, John, Larry, how are you?
I'm doing super.
John, you must have just finished watching that video in the last few minutes, right?
I did.
Hey, John, let me ask you, what did you like best about that video?
The $29 and the $100.
What about that was real hot for you?
I thought it was just amazing how you could actually earn either one, and it could also be a residual income. I thought that was fantastic.
Okay. Is it important to you to think about making a residual kind of income that comes in every month?
Well, it is, because it means that if I decide not to go to work, I still get paid.
And that's important to you?
Yes, it is.
What would you be doing different if you knew that, like us, that you had money coming every month?
Well, then I could probably take some days off.
Have you not taken many days off lately?
That's correct. I have not.
Oh, man, I know. So let me ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, John, 1 being you don't think you could see many of those $29 and $100 bills coming in, and on the other side, 10, you are ready to have those $100 and $29 bills coming in. 1 to 10, what are you feeling?
That's a 10 plus. I mean, I love it.
And if John says anything to me more than like a 7, I know he's really interested. If it's anything less than a 5, I know he's not that interested, right? Now,
Correct.
Let's just say that, and I'll tell you what typically happens. Typically, and I call that taking somebody's temperature, okay? So I say to John, 1 to 10, 1 being you're not interested, you don't see yourself making money. 10 being you're already feeling those $100 bills showing up in your bank account, just popping like popcorn. 1 to 10, John, where are you? Most times somebody will say, oh, probably about an 8 or a 9. Here's all I say. I say, John, and play this through, John, as if that was the case. And I say, John, what would it take to get you to a 10?
If I saw the money coming in.
Okay. So you know you can't see the money before we do any work, right, John?
That's right.
So being at a 9 and liking what you're seeing, is it fair to say you'd like to get started right away?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I feel like there's not a whole lot that I can lose out of this.
That's right. In fact, you really can't lose more than $150, right? And that's without using any of our products. So,
according to what I've seen,
John, let me ask you another question. If you had a choice, if somebody joined your organization and we were helping you work with people, and you had a choice of getting $100 from them or getting $29 from them, which would you rather?
Well, I want the $100.
All right, so you do understand if you want the $100, then you've got to join our program at the platinum level yourself with that $100 membership. You understand that, right?
Absolutely.
That's not an issue for you, is it?
Not for me, it isn't.
You see, so many of you are leaving money on the table. Some of your leaders hardly let anybody join without being a platinum. Now, I'm not saying if somebody's short money that you push them into it, but I'm saying that you won't know unless you ask. For a lot of people, $150 on their credit card is not a big deal, right? And if that's the case, don't leave money on the table. If you have 10 people, including personals and pass-ups this month, that actually go into the platinum program because of you asking a question like that, you just put $1,000 of extra income in your pocket. John, would you rather that in your pocket or in somebody else's pocket?
I want it in my pocket.
Are you starting to get a flavor of the questions, guys? Are you realizing that everything I'm saying, for the most part, even when I talk to John off the record, off the role play, it's still a question, isn't it? And you're not feeling overdone on questions, John, are you?
No, not at all.
Pretty natural, right?
Easy.
So, John, let's try this another way. Let's just give me a different answer, something. I don't care what. Hey, John,
Okay.
what'd you like best about the video you just watched?
Well, I like the idea that it only takes 4 people.
John, when you saw that whole illustration of the power of 4, right?
Absolutely.
John, as I went through that in the video, all right, or as Larry went through that in the video, did you feel like it was not a problem for you to get just 4 people who wanted to make more money in your business? Was that a good feeling for you?
I didn't find it an issue at all. I felt like, for me, I thought, I should be able to get this fairly quickly.
Okay. And would you think that most other people, especially if we're helping them with tools and personal help, would you think most people could just get 4 people?
Absolutely.
All right. So let me ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, and it's not the case, you already told me that you don't think you can put those people in, 10 being you're already thinking about who those 4 people are and you're ready to get started. 1 to 10, where are you?
I'm at a 10.
Okay. And of course, if he said 8 or 9, I'd say, what would it take to get you a 10? And usually what somebody will say to you is, well, I just have one question. And they ask a question, you answer it, you look at them and go, so John, that's it, you're at a 10 now, right?
And you
we'll
go,
pick up on some more ideas as we go. So let's just say I'm talking to John now, and I don't know, we're just talking, he's watched the video, and I just throw this question at him. Say, hey, John, let me ask you, as you were watching the video, you were probably thinking about the kind of people who could be successful with Xplocial, right?
yeah, I was, in fact.
Well, let me ask you something. If just first names so I can kind of identify. If I was to just say to you quick, John, give me the first names of the first 5 people that you think would be great for Xplocial. Xplocial would be great for them. Who are they?
Oh, I'd say Troy, Donna, Cindy, Rick, and Blaine.
Okay, got it. Got it. Now let me ask you something, John. Let's talk about you for a minute. I know you like what you saw with us, and we've got a lot of people making a lot of money. But let me ask you personally: would you rather start earning this money sooner than later, or would you rather just do it later?
I actually like to make it as soon as possible.
And let me ask you another question: these 5 people you just mentioned to me, do you think they'd rather make some money sooner if they had the opportunity, or they wouldn't care? They'd make it later.
Well, I won't know until I at least ask, but I think they're a good candidate. I think that they could use some extra money because I know their situation. So the only thing that I could see that might be an issue would probably be the money.
Okay. And could we agree that $48, $49 is on a credit card is not that big an investment for most people?
It's not if you get your 4 people. Not at all.
And of course, the great part is if somebody gets just 2 or 3 people in the organization with your and my helping them, they're going to break even quickly and never really be out of pocket, right?
Absolutely, and that's the key right there. They've got to get those people right away, and then they'll feel good about themselves.
Sure. So in order for us to get them started, first thing we've got to do is just get your online form out of the way. Are you in front of a computer now? Still in front of a computer, so I can take you to our sign-up page?
Yeah, I sure am.
Okay, and that's it. I just keep asking him right into the business. I don't go, all right, well, John, you got to sign up, okay? Because that's just doesn't feel good, okay? I just assume the clothes and bring them on in. Hey, let me tell you, John, we talked about this, I think, once. You said to me on the phone, you said, Larry, I had a guy, I just couldn't get him to talk to me. I would talk, I'd ask him questions even, and he wouldn't talk much. I didn't know if he was interested or not. I like to use what I call the you start technique. And you're going to see why I call it that. I'm not all that complicated, guys. I'm talking to a guy like John. He doesn't like to talk that much. He's giving me the, okay. Yeah, I get it. All right. So then what I might do is I might say, all right, John, here's the thing. I got a bunch of things to explain to you. You're going to want to know how certain things work, how we pay our commissions, how people use the product. You can see where there's a lot of information that I'm going to need to get you, and then I'm going to have questions for you. You can see all that, right?
Yes.
All right, well, why don't you go ahead and start? You start first talking to me about what your concerns are. It's the you start technique, okay? You go ahead, John. You start telling me about what you're interested in and what your concerns are. So now I'm making John talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's follow through on that, John. So I say, go ahead, tell me about what you're thinking, John, about after you've seen this video.
Well, I'm thinking about, when I can start calling my friends and inviting them and making sure that this is something that they would like to go forward with.
Is that something you think will make sense for you to talk to the people, some of the people you know, and give them the same opportunity?
Oh, absolutely, because I feel good about it, and I'm hoping that my friends will feel the same way.
Well, John, let me help you a second with that. Here's another little technique. John, if I said to you, and you don't have to be modest, if I said to you, do you consider yourself a sharp guy? What would your answer be?
I think I'm halfway there.
Okay, I think you're a sharp guy. Now, let me ask you this. As a sharp guy, do you think Xplocial is an on-target, really sharp opportunity?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So you're a sharp guy. Me too. We both feel Xplocial is a good opportunity. I'm going to assume probably some of your friends and your business associates are sharp people. Is that fair?
Yes.
Well, then, them as other sharp people should naturally feel like Xplocial is a good opportunity that we see. Wouldn't that make sense?
I agree with you.
All right. You see, I just get John agreeing, and I just ask questions, and there's no resistance. It's like taking candy from a baby. I want you to picture that by asking questions and getting John to just be saying, yeah, this is good. You're right. I like it, and I can see it. I can do it. 4 people works. Yeah, I know. Picture him in the corner with his arms just flailing because he doesn't know what to do. He's selling himself. He knows the only place he can go is to come on board with us, right? You've heard me using this. I want to point it out to you. I do it a lot. I do all of this unconsciously, by the way. I talk this way. I ask questions all the time as part of my everyday life or lifestyle. I do this all the time, and the only problem that seems to come up is when I do it to my wife, Bonnie. And I don't do it on purpose. I do it because when somebody asks me a question, I want to know what the heck they're really thinking. I want to know what's going on. Like when she comes in and says, "Are you hungry?" Well, John, what does that mean when a woman says, "Are you hungry?"
Do you want me to cook dinner?
Some women maybe. Bonnie and I have this agreement. She stays out of the kitchen. She's busy. She helps me with all kinds of things. She's not one of those women that cook a lot. So when she says, "Are you hungry?" what that means is, hey, are we going to go out? All right? Or are we going to bring something in? Right? But I don't know what she wants. So she says, "Are you hungry?" I go, "Well, it sounds like you are." She says, "Well, I am." I say, "Well, what is it that you're feeling like?" And I just question her. And, that's simple, but I do it with everything, and I do it with people around me because I find it helps me to relate better. Bonnie will stop me, though, because she's heard too many of these kind of trainings all over the world, and she'll say, I'll ask her, by the time I'm at the 3rd question, John, she'll say, "Stop that crap already. Don't ask me another question," right? But that doesn't happen to people that you're just meeting or you're just with. She's with me all the time. One of these techniques I use, I'll say something like, "Well, John, is it fair to say," all right? And you know what? John, answer me no, okay? John, is it fair to say that you're really not interested in this business?
No.
Well, and what you mean, John, is no, that's not fair, right? So, well, John, what would be a fair statement?
Well, is it really that easy to bring people in?
Now, you see what happened? I went from not being anywhere with John to finding out what his real question might have been. All right? But I'll go further. John, let's do it again. John, is it fair to say that you're probably not interested in this business at all? Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. And well, you're not helping me, John. Say to me, no, I wouldn't say that's a fair statement. That's
Okay.
what most people would say. And I'll say, well, hey, John, what would be a fair statement? And what did you say to me before?
Well, is it really that easy to bring people in?
Hey, John, great question. Now, why is it that you ask me that right now?
Well, because I guess I'm asking that question is because I want to see if the people do come in as easily as I think it is, then that means I'll be making some money.
Is making money what's important to you right now?
It is now.
If I said to you, John, that we found that bringing people into Xplocial is the easiest thing we've ever done within the home-based business arena, what would you say?
I'd say, tell me more.
What is it you're looking to hear?
Well, I don't know. You pretty much have answered all the questions, so I'm really running out of answers to throw at you.
Well, let me ask you this, John. Maybe I can help you. You saw the money that we have available. You know that we have a lot of people doing that. For you personally, would you like to earn that money you saw sooner or later?
I want to make it sooner.
All right. Well, John, it's pretty simple. If you want to get that money made sooner, first step would be that we've got to get you on into the online registration. It'll just take a couple of minutes. Are you in front of a computer?
I am.
Okay. Can you just go to Xplocial? Let me give you an address, or I'll just even email a message your quick address. Right? And that's it. I ask people into the business. Right? I ask them. Right? And by the way, I get a little nuts. Like, is it fair to say? If I'm not feeling really good about my conversation with John, I may say something like, John, is it fair to say that if I was selling gold bars for like $1 an ounce, you probably wouldn't be interested? Is that fair to say?
Oh, I'd be interested.
All right, you see? So these are the kind of questions, you know, that I like to ask, right? We did this one before. Who are the first 5 people you think of for Xplocial? All right? Hey, John, if I said you could be making money as early as next week, what would you say?
I'm on board.
Do you see how powerful some of this stuff is? And John, now I know you're being honest, right? As we do this, you're literally feeling these emotions that get you to say these things, aren't you?
Yes.
All right? It's just natural, all right? And I've done this in front of rooms of people where we bring them up to the front of the room and question them like this, and they just fall right in, okay, with no rehearsal, because it's just human psychology. We're working off psychology, all right? But you keep asking questions. One of my favorites, you know, is if I said, what would you say? Hey, John, if I said that the last 3 people I sponsored started making money right away, what would you say?
Wow, that sounds pretty great. I sure hope I can do that.
Well, you know, John, that's a fair question. What do you think would hold you back from doing that if everybody else I'm working with is making money?
Well, if everybody else is already making money, really there wouldn't be anything holding me back.
And you'd like to get that money as soon as possible, right?
Correct.
And so, John, if I said you'd probably have to, you know, spend just a few hours a week at least just to start that money tree coming in, but in 60 to 90 to 120 days, you could have a really good income if we kept working together. What would you say to that?
I would say this is doable, because it's not that a few hours a week, that's not that difficult to do.
You see, folks, I can ask people into the business. I don't have to tell them or sell them, because here's what I learned a long time ago. I learned that in today's marketplace, today's society, when I try to sell somebody on the business, they know that I'm selling. And if I'm selling, it's because I'm going to win when they say yes. And if I win, John, what happens to you?
I lose.
Right. Now, that's not the case here with Xplocial, but that is the natural feeling. Look how fast he said that, folks. He answered that. All right. And of course, Bonnie fixed that with me a few years ago. I said something like, well, if I win, she figured out, she says, well, maybe I come in second place, not lose. Right. But that's not the case, of course, with Xplocial. It's win-win. You know, you win by sponsoring a new person and getting paid, and they win because now you're accessing them to a system, to millionaires who want to help them build their business, right? So it's a win-win, but the natural feeling is, if I win, you're going to lose. So we have to stop that kind of feeling, right? We have to make it so people don't feel that way, right? So people feel that way when you're selling them. When they feel you coming at them, trying to put them in something, they feel like, if I let him win, I'm going to lose. So instead, I ask them questions. By asking questions, I let them come up with the right answers. By the way, I don't ever really ask a question that I'm not pretty sure what the answer is. Okay, that would be silly. So I ask a question knowing what the answer is, and what happens is they sell themselves into the business. They sell themselves in, and by the way, when they hear themselves saying positive things about Xplocial and about getting started making money with us, it's like God himself came down and said it. If I sell them, I'm just selling them. But if I let them figure it out on their own and answer the questions, they're going, wow, this is like a revelation, right? John, if I said you could get started making money really by next week, what would you say?
I'd say I'm ready. Let's get started.
See what I mean? All right. And if John says anything else, I just ask him another question. Say something else, John. If I said you can get started making money by next week, what would you say?
What do I got to do next?
Hey, that's a good question, John. Why are you asking me that now?
Because I want to know.
All right, if I said the next thing was to just get online right now and fill out just a short form to get you registered, what would you say?
Okay, take me to it.
That's all that happens, folks. It really is like taking candy from a baby when you know what you're doing. When you know what you're doing. All right? Now, what do you do with what we just went over? You practice it. How do you do it? You go into the back office and you play some of this again and again, and you listen to the questions I'm asking. You listen to just how I'm asking. You listen to all these techniques, and you do it over and over. And we'll be reinforcing this in future sessions, and we'll even have handouts for you that are in the back office that you'll be able to get on this that we're making. For those of you that can deal and do with advanced training, go try this. Try asking your kids, your spouse, whoever, your significant other. Try asking them questions instead of just talking at them. Ask them questions. They'll love you more because they'll feel that you're interested in what they're saying, and that's what your prospects feel when you ask them questions. They feel like this guy or this girl really has an interest in what it is I want to do and what it is I want out of life. Okay? That's the kind of person I like being around. All right? So make this part of your routine. Make this part of who you are like it is with me. Many of you never notice, and maybe you will after today, that if you're on the phone with me or you hear me on the phone with a prospect, that I'm always asking questions. You don't even notice it, but now you probably will. All right? Hey, little talk about what's coming quick over the next, gosh, I think less than 2 weeks now as we get. I want you to have an answer. Now, this isn't, by the way, what I'm about to give you is not an answer to an elevator speech to help you put somebody in your business. But if somebody is asking from a business perspective, who is Xplocial and what do we do, all right, you're going to be able to say to somebody, Xplocial provides entrepreneurs, professionals, and small businesses with sales incentives, business building tools, and world-class sales and marketing training. And all of this we provide to help these professionals and small businesses to get more new clients, more referrals, and more repeat business. Oh, and by the way, we also offer an affiliate program that enables people to build an affiliate team, market our services, and get this, actually keep 100%, all of it, 100% of the revenue. That's who Xplocial is. Over the next 2 weeks, you'll see these other services coming in. You'll see that we'll be having many of you sponsoring small business people and individual professionals and entrepreneurs who think, wow, maybe I can make some money referring Xplocial to other people. But besides the making money, I can learn and use tools in my regular business. You know, I'm a CPA, I'm an attorney. And I'm a mortgage guy, like John said. And if I can get some really good world-class sales and marketing training, if I got sales incentives and I got tools in the way of lead capture pages and Facebook tools, if I've got all of that to help me get more new clients, more referrals, and more repeat business, boy, $150 a month for these two programs is a steal. Ladies and gentlemen, I have put hundreds of people, small businesses, either solo people by themselves or businesses with 2 or 3 salespeople. I've put hundreds of those people into $199 and $299 training program, just a training program online and a library of training kept for them. For $150 in our whole gold and platinum program, people are going to get all types of our current sales incentives and more, all types of business building tools that we're bringing on board, and absolute world-class sales and marketing training. If you've been on enough of the calls with me, you know that that's what I am. I am that trainer, all right, for helping people to get more new clients, more referrals, more repeat business. And we've got over the next few months some amazing names scheduled, okay, people you know their names, to come on in and actually do some of the training. This is training that won't be just about network marketing. It's going to affect people who sell other products and services in the home, also people who sell in offices or out in the field. And we're going to round out this sales and marketing training that will certainly encompass what we do in network marketing, but in many other industries as well, and have some follow-up and accountability things going on that you won't even believe. You are going to have a marketplace of that 93 or 95% of the people who are not in network marketing right now, and you're going to have the best marketplace of that number to go to, because outside of network marketing, who are our absolute best prospects? They're entrepreneurs, they're professionals, and they're small business people. Listen, I want to talk to Uncle Frank and Aunt Mary. I want to give them an opportunity to join the business. I want them to watch the video. Some of you know my first business, 1983, 81, I was 23 years old. I went right to my dad, my best friend. As soon as Bert showed me that business, I went home, saw my dad, and said, hey, we got to do this. All right? And he became the strongest part of my business, and he had such tremendous growth. Tell that story another time for those of you that haven't heard it. So I wasn't afraid of talking to people I know, including my mom and dad. All right? You know, that was 32 years ago. And so, but I tell you what I know. I know that our best prospects and the people who with contact lists, the people who have credibility with those lists, and the people who aren't afraid to go to those lists are those three classes of people you see at the top: entrepreneurs, professionals, and small businesses. I mean, John, does that make sense to you, what I just said?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you see those people as being outside of network marketing, our best prospects?
I see them in the circle.
Absolutely. And why? They've got a list, they've got credibility with the list, and they're not afraid to talk to people. That's what I want out of the partners I'm bringing into business. I'll take Uncle Frank and Aunt Mary. I want them to. I want to help them make 100, 200, 500 bucks a month. Maybe it'll be like my dad, and it'll get him out of working full time, and he'll be on stages across the world where just a couple of years earlier, he was somebody who was hard-pressed for an answer when you said hello to him. He didn't talk to anybody. And I watched that growth happen. And it's such an exciting thing to help people grow, not just in money, but in the whole journey of becoming more open and more about people. And you're going to experience all of that by building this business. You're going to experience helping people to earn money, to have that money change their lives, change the lives of their children. You're going to lock arms with people like I know John already does with people in his group. They're locking arms and they're just marching forward. It's such an exciting time. Well, who we are and what we do that you're looking at is what Xplocial is really going to be all about over the next couple of weeks. All about from a network marketing standpoint and all about it from a straight business standpoint. I mentioned at the top of the call that I got on a call with Tom Westrick while I was out at a meeting. I jumped out and my cell phone died. He had me on the phone with Darren Little, MLM superhero, and Darren said to me, he says, Larry, you know, we're missing the boat a little here. We got to talk about Xplocial more from the standpoint of helping people in any business, network marketing or otherwise, helping people in any business to get more business because of using our sales incentives. Now, Darren really didn't know exactly what we were telling you about tonight, where we were talking about having other business building tools, Facebook tools, customizable lead capture pages, and all of this training in sales and marketing to help these business people. He didn't know anything about that, and before I got cut off, what he was saying to me was, Larry, we got to tell everybody out there that by joining Xplocial, you can help any business, any network marketing business for sure, any home-based business, just by people who join Xplocial using the incentives, not just to build their Xplocial business, but to build whatever else it is they're doing. And you're going to see a lot more of that and a lot more talk about that. All right? Hey, our recruiting numbers are going to accelerate as we put this new program in place. You're going to have a business that you're just going to be so proud of to show anyone on the planet. This is all going to be about helping you and helping other business people to get more new clients, more referrals, and more repeat business. That's what it's about, okay? And you know what, John, you see that picture of that family who got their arms up in the air? I love that picture. Everybody's got their own dreams and goals, right? Dad wants that new luxury car, like you were mentioning. The little boy just wants a good bicycle, little girl a teddy bear. Mom says, get me that house, right? Everybody's got what they want, and that's what we're about, okay? In fact, just make sure you get people started right now. Don't wait for anything that's going on. The time is right now. You want a big group of people in place as we introduce these lead capture pages that we're doing. It's a whole separate lead capture page system from what we have for the Xplocial business. We're talking about a lead capture pages, more than 50 of them available. It can be customized. There's already some for existing businesses. If you're a pizza place or you know somebody who owns a pizza place, we got a lead capture page for you to use and teach you how to do that. You know, if you're a realtor, we've got a page to help you gather leads with, okay? And we've got autoresponders for you, and you can customize your own autoresponders, and you can decide where those pages go to. A little different, a lot more freedom than what we do with our Xplocial lead capture pages. And I'm just throwing stuff out at you, okay? Throwing stuff out at you. How about if as your lead list grows from your lead capture pages in this new system of ours, you had the opportunity to be able to send them all a text message or send them all a phone broadcast right out of your system. Yeah, it's all there and it's all coming and it's going to be big. And you know what? Most of us, like John and me, will pay very little attention to it because we're busy building our networks, but a lot of people are going to love these products. Your growth can be immediate and exponential, but you got to have a big group of people in place. And when you do, you're going to be understanding that everything we're doing here is for one thing, one reason only. That's to help you achieve your goals and dreams. All we want to do with Xplocial, sure, we want to offer quality products and services and have people using them. But in the end, what my goal is, what I'm here for, what I wake up every day excited about, is that I've got people like John Shepkoff and Tom Westrick and Brian McLean and so many others that I could mention, and I don't want to start mentioning names, but so many people that are on board with us and that every day are working to achieve their dreams and goals, a lifestyle that most people probably couldn't achieve without a business like Xplocial. Whether it be that new home with the swimming pool in the yard, whether it be that boat, those vacations, travel in private jet aircraft. Maybe it is a Rolls Royce or a Bentley or a Ferrari, or maybe it's just a nice Caddy. Maybe it's a one-year-old nice car for you. Maybe it's vacationing and golfing where it is, but maybe it's just about having enough money to pay cash and put braces on your little girl or little boy's teeth. Or maybe it's just knowing that you're putting away money right now that you never could put away before Xplocial, so that you knew you could pay for your kids' college, that they didn't have to come out and have $50,000 worth of student loans saddled for years with them. Maybe you're like me, or you're at a point in your life where you want to be able to write good checks that go to your temple, your church, your synagogue, your whatever. All right, checks that go to your favorite charity. Maybe you're helping feed hungry kids across the world, or like we are in South Central LA. Maybe you're helping to build a school like we did in Malaysia. Okay, we're in a worldwide business, folks, with Xplocial. We've got people, I think, in over 30 countries now. So, you know, we want this to be global. We want to help on a global scale. So wherever you might want to write a check, maybe it's to buy a car. That's what you're writing a check for in cash. Maybe it's to help someone else who's in a little trouble. Okay, whatever it is for you, the lifestyle, whether it's material, whether it's all about helping others, whatever your dreams and goals are, that's what's important to us. Hey, our next event, our Xplocial Hour of Power, is this coming Monday night, next Monday after the weekend, June 3rd, 9 p.m. Check your back office and the emails that come to you for scheduling on what that's all about. But it's our regular Monday night Xplocial Hour of Power. It's going to be a great call. It is go time, folks. When I say go time, I mean go talk money time. I mean, never be embarrassed about talking to somebody about money. People ask me, do I lead with the product? Do I lead with the money? I will tell you every day, you lead with the money. Because when you lead with the money, if somebody doesn't see Xplocial as an opportunity for them, they may just see it as a product suite that they want to have, and now you get a customer. That's the way I get customers. I show the business to people as an opportunity. They see the video. At the end, they say, yes, I want to get started. or they say, hey, it's not for me right now, I'd like to become a customer. Very rarely when I talk to somebody do they do anything but that. I don't usually get no's, right? And I know, John, you're getting a lot less no's than you used to, right?
Correct.
Hey, let me go back to John and I. Where are we? Here we are. All right. I got to get off this, I think. Hold on. Here we go. All right. So here's John and I back. Listen, I hope we've given you some really good information tonight in a number of areas. One, you don't have to do all the work. All right. John, did you feel like you were doing kind of working a little bit when you had to answer those questions?
Oh, no, not at all.
You didn't feel that way, right? But look, I was working
easy.
less. I wasn't leaning forward and going, all right, John, here's what we got to do. This is it. We got to get you started. And John be backing up. He'd be getting scared. He'd be going, hey, take it easy, man, right? Isn't that the way it kind of goes, John?
Yeah.
Right. So instead of that, I'm just kind of taking it easy, and I'm asking John questions, right? Now, when you re-listen to this, I may be asking them hard and loud because I'm just exaggerating for our training. But in reality, I'm kind of leaning back, and I'm saying, hey, John, is it fair to say that if you could start making money as fast as next week, you'd probably want to get started? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a fair question.
Okay, and that's really all it is. I just question people right in. So please go back and review this for those of you that really want advanced training techniques, for those of you that really want to know how to make a difference with your business. Hey, John, I'm going to put you up on the video here. What I'm going to ask you to do is just spend maybe the last couple, in fact, we're overtime. I thought we'd go 40 minutes tonight, but it went so well, and we had people Skyping. Just tell everybody what you see for you coming up with Xplocial in the next 3 to 6 months.
All I see myself is growing bigger and bigger. It's actually moving forward. I mean, I actually feel myself working a little less because what's happening, and I'm so excited about the movement that's going on, and I'm actually getting better because when I have people that come over, let's say work on my phones, it gives me an opportunity. I think I told you, Larry, today I had people coming over working on my phone, and it gave me another opportunity to talk to someone about Xplocial. I mean, I am not shy about at all when it comes to Xplocial because the way I look at it is I'm helping that individual make a difference for themselves. And when I just tell them, I just say, you wouldn't be interested in an extra $29 or $100 maybe a day, would you? And they go, of course I would. What do I got to do? And I leave it as that.
That's perfect. That's perfect. You know, that brings it down, doesn't it? You wouldn't be interested in an extra 29 or $100 every day coming into you, wouldn't it? You know, if when you sit there and you say to somebody, hey, you would be interested in an extra $10,000 or $20,000 a month, would you? The guy makes $4,000 a month now full time. He's been doing that for 20 years. He can't even imagine what you're talking about. Right? Well, the way John brought it down to, hey, would you like to see an extra $100 a day coming into you? Would that make a difference? Man, what a great question, John. I mean, that's one we'll include some newsletters and things like that. That's great. John, I want to thank you so much for chiming in and being with us tonight and helping out. And for those of you that are in John's group, you know how fortunate you are having him as a leader and having him to help you because he's doing just one hell of a bang-up job, as so many of our leaders are, as so many of you who are watching is. Folks, this is a no BS deal we're talking about here. This is no hype. Yeah, I'm exciting and I like to be motivating. This is about giving you the chance to right now take the next 90 to 120 days and make a difference in your life like you never could doing anything else. And I just hope, I pray that you believe in yourself as much as some of your leaders and as much as I believe in you. We believe in Xplocial. We live it. We breathe it every day. We do that to give you the environment, the training, the opportunity for you to take hold of it and actually make it a part of you and make it something that changes your life for the better and forever permanently. Again, thank you, John. Thank all of you for being with us tonight, taking your valuable time to be with us, and we'll be talking to a lot of you over the course of the next few days, and we'll see all of you with all new guests next Monday night for our Xplocial Hour of Power. Have a great night.